IVM.
Now, I know the fan garage seems like a place which my mother fears I'll spend the rest of my adult life in, but fortunately for her, it's actually a great podcast on sports. Something else she wishes I chose instead of being a nerd. Get your daily news on all the action going on in cricket, fantasy cricket, and Indian football every day on iTunes, Stitcher, or even the IVM Podcast app. Hey everybody, welcome to the Geek Food Bulletin. I'm Tejas and I have Dinkar here today with me.
Hey Tejas, what's up? How do you do?
I'm good. It's great. Very busy times we've been
life.
having. Yeah.
Very busy time in the news and not news segments of the world also.
Okay, cool. So tell us, what's been happening?
Yeah, we have like no time. Alright, first of all, let's talk about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Second trailer dropped. Did you watch it?
I did. In fact, I spoke with Jose, who's our guest this week on the main episode where we spoke about Spider-Man for the PS4.
Nice
we spoke
plug.
about, we spoke about Into the Spider-Verse as well. So Jose is a big fan of like Miles Morales. Like he reads the comics, everything.
Nice.
And he's just really excited that we get to see a new iteration of it. And likewise,
several new iterations of it, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that the principal character is Miles. I mean, that we knew.
There is also a older, weary Peter Parker in there.
So there is that's going to be played by Jake Johnson, who I love.
Correct.
A lot of people hate his voice, by the way. I think he's perfect for this role. It's great.
Why?
He's like a sloppier Peter Parker. I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. And other things that I love is that there's so many throwbacks to the Sam Raimi trilogy.
I know. That
love.
entire first narration bit he does is all shots from the trilogy, right?
Yeah,
They
it's
do the
great.
cafe sequence, the train sequence.
And then the car busting through the window, which I found really funny
Yeah.
because there's two things funny. It's like, why is he on a date in his costume? The second thing is he just friggin' punches the car back instead of like
Yeah, it's a
dodge
new
it.
take on it.
I love it. It's really funny.
That's a great scene.
Yeah. So yeah, just generally, I'm really excited. I'm also mostly excited for obviously the story of Miles Morales, but the cameos, John Mulaney, Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir is just going to be
It's so cool.
so good.
John Mulaney as Spider-Ham, of course.
Spider-Ham, yes, yeah.
So yeah, it looks great.
It looks solid.
Just really excited
Great
for
time
that.
to be a Spider-Man fan, and also I think this is what I feel is going to happen. By the third Spider-Man movie, there will be a Miles Morales. I think these are just priming him for.
They did introduce Uncle
there, like-
Aaron, right?
Right, yeah, and no, he's also he's in the game.
Who's in the game?
Miles is in the game.
Right.
So they've kind of set him up in that universe. They're setting him up in this animated universe. They've had a hint of him in Homecoming.
the current movies, yeah.
So I think he's definitely going to be a part of the movies as well.
What you saying? You're
Yeah.
saying
At some
that
point it's
this
definitely gonna happen.
youngster Tom Holland is going to be knocked off into...
He won't be knocked off, but they will definitely.
He'll
by
become
the
a
third
Spider-Man
movie.
and you'll have like an ultimate situation in the movies? Do you think so?
Yeah, anything is possible. I
What?
think they're definitely going to do it because I think people want to see more Spider-Man. They don't necessarily need to see more of Peter Parker.
Do you think Into the Spider-Verse could be a good test case for having multiple Spider-Men and see how people handle it?
100%. Because Spider-Verse, the comics did really well, but obviously
Yeah.
that's a comic book thing. The other thing which
And
I
comic
really
book
like.
fans are used to...
Yeah, even video game fans are
Yeah.
used to this whole thing. But they had that game Shattered Dimensions also, which introduced the characters before. But the thing which I really like, what I would really like to see is that, I think it's just a different story. And I like to see Peter Parker finally get his happy ending in some sorts. I mean, right now in the comics he doesn't have one. But like otherwise, I'd like to see him kind of retire him. He's like Peter Parker, he's Spider-Man. It's good.
Yeah.
Let him be Spider-Man and it's fine. And there can be a new identity because I think these guys, people are going to grow tired of the Spider-Man stories, man. Like it's, there are plenty of them to tell, but like in the
Yeah.
last 10, 15 years, we've had a lot of Spider-Man.
We've repeated the same stories again and
Yeah,
again.
we
Is the
need-
main issue.
we need to find some new
It's all
Spider-Man.
been variations on a Peter Parker type. You could use
Yes.
a Miles Morales type.
Yeah, just as a new character, new dimension to the role itself. It'll be cool, man. And yeah, I would like to see it.
Here's a new dimension to the Spider-Man universe.
Give it a
Venom. Did you watch?
Right.
It's about to release.
It's at the time of this recording. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
releasing tomorrow, I believe. I wanted to try and catch it, but I don't think I'll have the time. I'm gonna have to come back.
I will watch
away
it twice
right now.
for
Yes,
you.
Yes,
I will like go there and go like, we are Geek Fruit. We're here to watch.
but
Venom.
you know that it's got. So far, it's been
It's
panned,
getting some
right?
like fairly panny reviews.
Yeah.
Now, why I bring it up? Because in the news end of it,
Yeah.
Tom Hardy has been complaining about the movie and saying that all
a
his
lot of
favorite
it
parts have been cut out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because that's what happens when you make it a PG-13 film and you're Tom Hardy.
Yeah, like everything I've heard about
What's
the
all
movie.
the naughty bits to be in it? Yeah.
He said some like very nutty bits. I don't know if they were naughty as well.
Oh, okay, I see.
But man, I don't even get this Venom. Like that bit where he calls the guy like, you'll be rolling down the
like
street.
a turd in the wind, yeah.
like a turd.
In the
I'm like,
wind.
what are you doing, man?
It seems pretty funny. Like, I feel like the only people
It's like
who
that moment where Thanos describes, he's like, turns the legs
Like
to
to
jelly.
jelly.
I'm like, you don't know what jelly is, and Venom doesn't know what turds is. You guys are aliens.
No, well, it's still Eddie Brock in there somewhere.
I suppose so.
Yeah, that's okay. That's acceptable. Legs turn into jelly, that's just
Legs
nonsense.
turn into jelly. It's just like, what brand of jelly were you eating?
the Titan Epigamia brand over there. Anyway, but I think what they're trying to, obviously, because they want to have a route for Tom Holland's character to come back into the Spider-Man, into the Venom universe or whatever, the Sony part of it.
Yeah.
Which is weird, man.
I don't know.
Just
This
stop,
is getting
guys.
really complicated.
Stop.
Also, I feel like, so the only approach Venom can take, and we're speculating literally days before we watch the movie, but is that Venom becomes something of a hero, right? And Riz Ahmed's character becomes the outright
He has to
villain.
be an anti-hero. That's it. Like, he doesn't have to save people. He can kill people. I think that's fine. I think that's part of the character.
Like a Punisher-y type.
Yeah. See, Venom's best arcs have been ones that revolve around Spider-Man.
Exactly,
the best,
because he's an anti-Spider-Man.
No, and apart from that, it's like the toss-up in the character. This is what defines the Venom character for me, right? It's about jealousy. I think it's about like the envy that Eddie Brock has for Peter Parker, because the symbiote itself wants to align itself with the best possible host, and the best possible host is Spider-Man, like, because he's got powers. He's like a pinnacle, like, of like human condition or whatever, right? Like, and so he wants to align himself with Spider-Man, but obviously Spider-Man rejects that. And the thing is, Eddie Brock later on gets cancer and he's dying, and the symbiote is the only thing that's keeping him alive. So it becomes this really
like a
tough
symbiotic
kind of situation.
relationship, one might say.
Well done, well put. Yeah, but yeah, it becomes a really tragic kind of
symbiotic
arc.
relationship is what most college kids in Pune have.
Yes, we had one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, man, I think it's a tragic arc, but it's a really good one. And the parts where Venom is when he's fine, when Eddie Brock is fine, he becomes an ally to Spider-Man, and he's like kind of an idiot, like I remember this one scene which kind of sticks in my head a lot from the first Spider-Man game, where after Venom kidnaps Mary Jane, and then you save Mary Jane, but then you realize that Venom and Spider-Man have a similar enemy, which is like this was Doc Ock in that, and so he has to kind of research stuff. He's like, no, we got to find out this information, and we got to surf the web, and Venom is just jumping around saying, surf the web. It's just like really silly and funny. It's like kind of like a dumb Big Brother kind of situation, and I think Venom should be in that role, and it doesn't work.
Exactly. This is what worries me.
There, let's put it that way,
this is what is worrying me about the movie. It feels like they've taken all the best things about Venom and not done them. So Tom Hardy might be right here. Like, the character's main thing is...
And he's kind of like Lobo in the DC comics. He's kind of like a wild card kind of person, which is good.
So, but that kind of character only works in the context of the universe, right?
Yeah.
If it's only Venom, what are we dealing with
Do
here?
you think it's like the Hulk or Deadpool, which is that they can't really hold movies on their own? And I know the Deadpool movies say otherwise in terms of box office, but I still don't think I think he's a good fringe character. Like, he works in comic books because comic books are shorter spells, and you could use him as like how they were using Quicksilver in the X-Men movies.
Correct.
Like as in like a wild card kind of thing.
Yeah. But again, like, you couldn't do a Quicksilver. I mean, you could, possibly, but you need to construct a really strong world around that character then, which is what works for Deadpool. It works because the guy is, like, commenting on the real world.
Yeah.
There's a context that you've set him up in.
Correct, yeah.
Right? Which is,
yeah.
it's wakey.
Yeah, exactly. It's
totally wake.
It's awakened.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway, but to bring this back to news... From speculation, why I brought up Venom again was there's been an online hate campaign going on around Venom.
What? Again?
From
now what
fans of Lady Gaga. So apparently, a very organized sort of system of trolls went into play against Lady Gaga's wishes, obviously, trashing Venom because they wanted people to go watch A Star Is Born.
Oh, right. Of course, yes. I did hear about this. This was the other movie that's contending to kind of take
so
the
like
box
a bunch
office,
of bots and militant fans were going out and just basically putting out fake reviews of Venom, going like, wow, went to see Venom, the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We decided to go watch A Star Is Born instead, and now there was one tweet which literally said, my kids were crying because Venom was so so bad, went for A Star Is Born. Now they're crying tears of happiness.
Wow.
So,
but my favorite...
some artistic license
My favorite tweet was Neil deGrasse Tyson angrily walks out of A Star Is Born.
It's like, this is bullshit.
This is not what I signed up for. Anyway, that was really fun. Other thing is, did you hear about the Russians hacking The Last Jedi?
Exactly. I've set it up in it's all
done.
planned. There's a very clear set of segues here.
Well done. It's so good a segue that even the person who doesn't know it naturally falls into that.
So yes, Russia has been pissing the shit out of me, man. First of all, they put Trump in office.
Yeah, I know.
Then they couldn't invent.
Facebook.
Yeah, and also their salad is terrible.
Yeah.
Russian salad is a scam.
It's okay.
It's mayo and vegetables. Is this true?
Isn't all salad that?
No, that's different dressings.
Okay, cool.
But,
all right.
Yeah,
mayo's a big part of it. Mayo is what makes it out. Like it gives it the medium.
Okay, fine. The jury's adjourned on Russian salad, but the Star Wars business. Apparently, fans of this podcast might know, and fans of Star Wars might know that we've been vehemently anti all this trolling that goes on around Star Wars universe movies.
Yeah.
And now it turns out that a large part of them might be coming from troll farms.
Okay, you know what? So I believe that, maybe troll farms. But here's the other thing. I think the universe has changed, right? Like, it's that innocence that was widely regarded to be a big part of Star Wars, right? Like, you believe. They can't handle it anymore. And the movies decided to kind of stay progressive and try and keep up with what is relevant today. And when they did that and changed it, then people had a problem with that as well. So I think it's just people being idiots also. It's just like a big part of it is also like they can't handle this change and whatever they want, it's fine.
And I think negative stuff is just louder. Like, let me give you some numbers from the paper, which is awesomely titled Weaponizing the Haters.
Yeah. Okay.
A scientific paper. I love it.
Yeah.
So, all the negative tweets from all the tweets between December 2017 to July 2018 on Star Wars, 21%. There's only 21% of negative tweets. And yet, that's what we seem to see the most. Wow. So, negativity is just amplified. 80% or like 79%, if you want to I suppose if we're talking science papers, we should be specific.
Yeah.
79%.
That's why I didn't get my math. I got less than,
less than 79%.
Yeah. More like closer to
79% of the people talking about Star Wars online were positive. And yet, the trolls seem to have the loudest voice.
Here's the thing. You're right. I think negative stuff just kind of is louder, right? Like, because when you're saying something great about the movie is good. Like, it's a great movie. I really enjoyed it. And I'll go online and I'll say it once. I'll say, wow, that was a fucking great movie. Right? But if you want to say something bad, you're going to go on a rant. And that's just like, by definition, it's just going to be much longer and more, it's going to take up more space and you're just going to tweet more and more about how you hate it. Blah, blah, blah,
and when you disagree with someone, you're just more likely to engage with that person, right? Like,
I say you're defending rather than,
Exactly. And, okay, well, further statistics, of that 21%, about 50%, so he split them into three categories, this researcher, a scientist called Bay. Not Michael Bay, no relation.
But he's a Star Wars Bay.
But he's talking about, he's kind of broadly split it up into politically motivated guys and people who just didn't like the movie.
So what was the purpose of this then?
We're not entirely sure. Maybe
is it just to kind of bring a big conglomerate down?
Like,
this is the biggest franchise and the biggest movie of one of the biggest conglomerates in America.
Yeah.
And is the plan to attack that a plan to attack
I don't think it's anti-conglomerate. It might be anti-America in general.
Yeah, it's like true blue American product, right?
Yes.
It's Disney with Star Wars.
Exactly.
Right? So taking down that as opposed to any other thing is going to be like attacking the very DNA of what it is to be American. I don't know. Is that it?
Again, to be fair, there's no clear numbers on how much of this was Russian sponsored, though definitely some of them were coming from Russian troll farms. And about 50% of that 21%, so we're talking about 10% of the overall conversation around Star Wars, was driven by trolls or bots. Right? And I think it's the kind of hate that they're directing towards Star Wars. This kind of hate is typically not like, oh, what a shitty movie, it's ruining my childhood. It's more like, why does a woman have to be the lead character?
Yeah,
right?
that kind of shit. Yeah.
It's tying the cultural importance of America into the political identity of America.
In fact, like I was just reading, God, I don't know why else I spent so much time doing this, but like when Kathleen Kennedy, her contract was renewed, like and now she's still going to be the president of Lucasfilm for like another 3 years. Like a lot of people like, oh my God, man. how can blah, and all that shit. So I just like could not even. Yeah.
But I guess the agenda here clearly is to get the sort of the same sort of people who would probably be on the regressive side politically, like your Donald Trump supporter types.
Correct.
Get them out shouting about Star Wars.
Correct. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, again, probably the same, like the same way James Gunn got fired.
Correct.
Right?
Exactly.
Again, similarly politically motivated. And Russia has, of course, always hated America's cultural influence more than anything.
Yeah.
And they're trying to fight that.
Man, that sucks.
Yep.
All right, moving on to something more interesting. The synopsis for Jon Favreau's Star Wars series just came out, and it's called The Mandalorians.
Again, like I literally just pulled up the synopsis for it.
Yeah. So, read it out then.
So, the synopsis for The Mandalorian is: after the stories of Jango and Boba Fett, another warrior emerges in the Star Wars universe. The Mandalorian is set after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order. We follow the travails of a lone gunfighter in the outer reaches of the galaxy, far from the authority of the New Republic. Interesting.
Far from anything that could affect the canon of the Star Wars series.
Apparently. Doesn't it sound a lot like the start of The Dark Tower by Stephen King? Like there's a gunslinger and everything.
Yeah.
It sounds very westerny, huh?
Yeah. I think I like Jon Favreau. I think everything he's done has been great. If he's producing this and he's not the showrunner, but he's like what Frank Darabont was.
Like executive producer or
to
something like that,
Walking
right?
Dead and stuff. But I hope it's good. I hope, you know what I hope? I hope that it's a miniseries. I don't want them to draw it down too long. I don't want it to be like 8 seasons, unless it's like so good. And it's not possibly going to be that, right? Like, because it's going to be Star Wars stuff. So Star Wars stuff has a limited time where it could be really, really good. If they go into different new directions, it could be even better than what I hope it to be. But yeah, I hope they keep it like, a short, like 2-3 season kind of show.
Hopefully.
Which kind of, because I love The Mandalorians, but I feel like I've seen a lot of it with Sabine and stuff from Rebels, a show that Dinkar never watches because he just never listens to me. But yeah, if you watch Rebels and if you watch Clone Wars, a lot about Mandalore in that, and there's a good amount of like substance there. And in fact, in Rebels, they kind of address a lot of stuff. I'd be really happy though if any one of my favorite characters from those shows come. Like Sabine, if she's in this show, which I doubt it, would be amazing.
Isn't this in the same time period as... So it says after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order.
Which is between 7 and 9.
Correct.
No, between 7 and 6. 6 and 7.
Yes, correct. Yes,
6
right.
And 7, yeah.
That means that this is the same time as this guy's new show, right? Star Wars Resistance is in the same time period?
It is.
Though it's a big time period. It's
but
about 30 years.
It's closer to Force Awakens than otherwise.
And Mandalorian we don't know, obviously.
Yeah, because in Resistance there is like some of the characters from the movies like who are all reprising their roles.
Right.
What's his name? American Farhan Akhtar. What's his name? Except better guy. What's his name?
American Farhan Akhtar?
Guy looks like Oscar Isaac. Yeah, he looks like him a little bit.
No, he doesn't.
Doesn't he? Doesn't he?
Don't know.
Does he have a Farhan Akhtarish vibe to him? Come on, hit me. I'm not saying this to devalue either of them.
He does not.
He does like... Is everyone having a good time? And then the Resistance goes like, ah. No, but... I can't believe I just did that, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Oscar Isaac is great. He is in this show and he's playing Poe Dameron, so that's cool.
Nice.
So I think it'll be closer to Force Awakens than it will be to the Return of the Jedi.
And and since this specifically says it's after Boba and Jango Fett, it's probably closer to 6. Yes.
Just anything that they can find room for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Chalo Tejas, I'm going to end on a depressing note.
Hit me, dog.
Let me just tell you, this is why we can't have nice things.
Oh no.
Chelsea Peretti is leaving Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, I heard about that.
What's up, man?
It's okay.
What's going on?
I felt bad when Troy left, as in when Donald Glover left Community, and we dealt with it, and we got through it, and was fine.
Yeah, but
it's never the same again.
It was never the same.
But it's gotta happen at some point, dude. It's like when Steve Carell left Office, man. It happens, dude.
These are both situations in which the shows went very downhill.
Yeah, so it's going to go downhill.
What Steve Carell was an anchor.
One second, how many seasons of Brooklyn Nine-Nine you got? 5. Yeah. Just about, okay? It was cancelled and got back. So 20. You got 5 seasons. You are lucky, man. My shows get cancelled at 2 or 3 seasons, dude.
We have to do an episode of our favorite cancelled shows. I have several, like Happy Endings, the greatest sitcom ever.
Amazing show.
Ended after 2.5 seasons.
Yeah.
Literally, it should have been the new Friends of our generation.
It was really good.
And yet here we are.
And then instead we got New Girl, which I accepted and I watched it. And I finished it also. It was great.
Yeah, and well, they ended that on a decent note.
No, it was a very rushed, rubbish note. If you want to watch it to the 6th season.
I mean, at least they ended it on their terms, right? More or less. It was what? 8 seasons?
Yes, 7.
7, correct.
But the last, yeah.
Man,
it was fine. It was
listen, life is a chaos.
Dude, Gilmore Girls, dude. Same. Dude, it all happens. It happens.
It don't know.
Shows end, dog.
I thought we were fine. We fought. We brought it back. This one was a victory for us.
She's leaving the show after the season?
She's leaving midway through the upcoming season, the NBC season.
Okay. Well, one second.
It's
Hello.
fine.
Rick Grimes is leaving Walking Dead. What show is there then? Daryl Dixon. That's the answer. But whatever.
Who knows? Whatever. I think B99 will still be okay because it's every member of that cast is a heavy hitter.
No, but the other thing is that they can introduce new characters. Guys, what do you think the biggest companies in the world have lasted on? Marvel Comics. Introduce new characters, guys.
This is my family. Yeah. It's not a company.
No, so make new characters. Dude, you think they can't? Dude, Pimento, who came in season 2, 3?
Yeah.
Such a good character. If
Great
they just
character.
got more people, I would watch Pimento, dude.
F***ing Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah, he's so funny, dude. He's so good.
And Chelsea Peretti wasn't in most of the previous 2 seasons.
Yeah, she had a pregnancy and she, had some other stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Got married to an Oscar winner.
Exactly.
Happens.
Wait, which one? Who?
She's married to Jordan Peele, man.
Correct, yes. Yeah, right. So there you go. Boom. That's life,
Whatever. I'm choosing to be cautiously pessimistic.
This is a long episode, friend.
Well, I have some stuff on my mind, Tejas. But, alright, well, this has been the Geek Fruit Bulletin. Tell us what you think of everything we discussed today. Tell us what else we should talk about. And make sure to check out our Spider-Man extravaganza of an episode with Tejas and Jose. Is this true?
Yeah, it's pretty extravagant.
Well, that's it for the Bulletin.
Alright.
Peace out, you nerds.
Do you have a night routine? Well, everyone has one. And the to-do list usually looks like this. Brush your teeth, set that alarm, get into your pajamas, and switch off those screens. But here's one more to add to that list. Tune into the Positively Unlimited podcast for a dose of positive action and tips on how to build powerful mindsets. Episodes out every Monday on the IVM Podcast app, ivmpodcast.com, or wherever you tune into podcasts.
Yeah. It's IVM here, let's go. We the IVM kids on the block over here. Just to talk, taking a break from producing all day. Coming on this podcast cause we got stuff to say. IVM Daily is the name of the show. Monday to Friday, we ready to go. Talking about stuff in our head. We might even talk about our favorite bread. Signing out, it's IVM here, the podcast network that's in your ear.
Catch IVM Daily, Monday to Friday on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.